The Health Benefits of Touching a Tree Every Day. By the Awake Aware Alive team. Let's be honest, when you read the title, your first reaction was probably a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Touching a tree? Every day? Is this a wellness trend or a pagan ritual? I promise it's not as outlandish as it sounds. In fact, it might just be the most accessible, affordable, and scientifically backed therapy you aren't doing. We spend our lives swiping glass screens, tapping plastic keyboards, and walking on concrete. We are, biologically speaking, electrically insulated from the earth. But what happens when you break that barrier and simply place your palm on the bark of a living tree? Quite a lot, actually. Here is why adding a 2-minute tree time to your daily routine might be a game changer for your health. 1. The cortisol crash course. We are living in a perpetual state of low-grade fight or flight. Our ancestors released cortisol when running from a lion. We release it when we get a rude email. The problem is, modern stress doesn't end, so our cortisol levels rarely drop. Enter the tree. Studies on forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku, originating in Japan show that spending time around trees, specifically touching them, lowers cortisol levels significantly. In one study, participants who walked in a forest had a 12.4% decrease in cortisol levels compared to those who walked in a city. Touching the bark sends a tactile signal to your nervous system that says, you are not being hunted. You are standing in the sun. Be still. It triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. 2. Grounding, the Earth's free Wi-Fi. You have probably heard of earthing or grounding. The theory is that the Earth carries a mild negative electrical charge. When you are barefoot on the grass or touching a tree rooted deep in the soil, you absorb those electrons. Why does this matter? These free electrons are potent antioxidants. Research published in the Journal of Environmental and Public Health suggests that grounding can reduce inflammation, thin the blood, and improve heart rate variability. When you touch a tree, you are quite literally plugging your body into the planet's electrical grid to reset your internal voltage. 3. The phytoncide effect. Trees communicate. They fight off insects and disease by releasing airborne chemicals called phytoncides. When you stand next to a tree, you inhale these compounds. But here is the amazing part: when you inhale phytoncides, your body increases the number and activity of natural killer, NK, cells, a type of white blood cell that fights tumors and viruses. A study showed that a 3-day forest trip boosted NK cells by 50%, and the effect lasted for a month. While a daily touch is shorter, consistent exposure keeps that immune system humming. 4. It forces mindfulness, without the app. Let's face it, traditional meditation is hard. Sitting still with your own thoughts for 10 minutes often feels like torture. Touching a tree is meditation for the restless. You don't have to clear your mind. Instead, focus on the texture of the bark. Is it rough like old leather? Smooth like a river stone? Are there tiny ants walking over your fingers? What does the moss smell like? This sensory focus, haptic perception, yanks your brain out of the rumination loop. You cannot worry about your mortgage while tracing the grooves of a 100-year-old oak. It's impossible. 5. The posture and breathing reset. We hunch. Over phones, over laptops, over anxiety. Touching a tree requires a slight reach. You have to roll your shoulders back, lift your sternum, and tilt your face toward the canopy. That physical motion opens up your diaphragm, allowing for deeper, fuller breaths. You automatically begin to breathe in a 1-to-2 ratio. Inhale shorter, exhale longer, which is the biological signal for safety. How to do it? The rules are easy. You don't need a forest. You need one tree. 1. Find your tree. It can be in your backyard, a city park, or on a sidewalk. Avoid trees with poison ivy on the trunk. 2. Remove your glove, if you wear one. Skin-to-bark contact is key. 3. Place both palms flat on the trunk. 4. Lean in gently. Take 3 deep breaths. 5. Thank the tree. Seriously. Gratitude amplifies the biochemical effect. Set a timer for 2 minutes. That's it. That's the workout. A final thought. We tend to overcomplicate health. We buy vibrating plates, red light masks, and expensive supplements. But the most healing technology on the planet is older than the dinosaurs, costs nothing, and is currently standing still on your street. The tree doesn't care if you are rich, thin, or successful. It only asks that you show up. So tomorrow morning, on your way to the car or walking the dog, stop. Reach out. Touch the bark. You might just feel a little more rooted.